In front of me today is the Found North batch number 7. This is their newest release. I'm a huge fan of Found North. Is this the best Found North that I have tried to date? Alright guys, so as I stated, this is Found North batch number 7. This is their latest release. This one was aged and matured in Hungarian oak. Mash bill on this one is 83% corn, 16% rye, 1% malted barley. Comes in at 131.8 proof and has an 18-year age statement on the front of the label. Let's get in the nose. There's a very creamy butterscotch note on this one further into the glass. This one again, it smells like it's going to be very creamy, very dense, very rich. There's a lot of butterscotch on the nose, again, indicating, that high corn content. You're going to get a lot more sweetness than you are anything else. You're still getting a lot of those, again, those traditional kind of bourbon characteristics, right? You're still getting some of those vanillas, and you're getting some of that caramel in there. There's a little bit of some cinnamon. Definitely getting more of that butterscotch there further into the glass. And then further into the glass, too, with that butterscotch, now that it's opened up a little bit more, I start to get a little bit of some golden raisins in there. But everything is just like, it's just creamy and dense on the nose there. Definitely excited to get in the palate, guys. Cheers. So first thing on the front of the palate is this creamy kind of vanilla orange flavor that's going on there. It's almost like one of those... almost like a small hint of like a little creamsicle taste there on the front of the palate. Again, it doesn't even drink its proof. I would say maybe around 120, but this one's coming in at 131.8 proof. The flavors are very layered. They're very layered on this one. Again, you're getting some of that sweetness there up at the front. Middle of the palate, you get a little bit of some spiciness. There's some cinnamon, and there's also like those little honey, the little honey flavored, the Teddy Grahams, the little Teddy Graham crackers you had when you were a kid. That's like the flavor that I'm kind of getting there on the middle of the palate with some of those baking spices. And into the finish, you get a hint of like some cracked black pepper there into the back. Medium to long finish, more along that medium side right now. But the flavors are they're very layered. I really like that. Very complex kind of whiskey here. Let's get a second sip. Front of the palate is that vanilla orange. Almost, again, reminding me of almost like this little like creamsicle kind of flavor. Middle of the palate, it's like one of those little honey Teddy Grahams. You get some cinnamon, and you start to pick up a little bit of clove there. Just very, very subtle clove. And on the back of the palate, it's like some cracked black pepper with some of that, like, again, some of that, like, that honey kind of flowing through into the back. Man, that is just, it's so layered. There's so many layers to this whiskey. Man, this is a fantastic batch of Found North. This is probably my favorite batch of their standard releases that I've ever had. By far. Let's get a last sip, guys. Cheers. Yeah, still a lot of so what changed for me on that sip was the middle of the palate and the back. So again, still getting some of that vanilla and kind of orange there, almost like creamsicle like. Middle of the palate, it is just like now there's cinnamon, there's brown butter. Start to pick up some of that, again, those little honey kind of Teddy Grahams there on the middle of the palate. Slight hint, like a subtle hint of some clove there. You definitely kind of get that there. That's really showed up on almost each sip now. Just very, very subtle. But I mean, on the back of the palate too, I mean, there's still, there's this like nice kind of sweet oak, and I think that's, with that Hungarian oak, I think it's delivering more of those like baking spices to it too. So it's like this sweet oak, some nutmeg, some cracked black pepper, and then some of those flavors that I'm getting on the mid palate are just slowly kind of pulling down and transitioning. It's just this this smorgasbord full of flavor there on the middle into the back of the palate and through the finish. What a fantastic whiskey here from Found North. So I want to thank you guys for tuning into this episode of Dusty Dan's Whiskey Reviews. I want to send a big shout out to the team over at Found North for supplying me with the sample here to review on the channel. Guys, this is by far probably my favorite batch of Found North that I've ever had. The most complex, the most layered. To me, in my opinion, it's probably the most flavorful of their standard releases that I've ever had. This is just a fantastic whiskey. It doesn't drink 131.8 proof, but whether they did some blending with this, or whether this was just more of a single barrel offering, or two different barrels married together, whatever they did, this whiskey is absolutely fantastic. It is a stellar whiskey. This is a bottle I definitely need to find before they are sold out, because this is probably going to make my top 10 whiskeys so far this year. So again, hell of a job to the Found North team for, again, creating a hitter. This is just a hitter of a bottle, guys. So if you're looking for more reviews like this, hit that subscribe button, bell notification to be alerted of any upcoming reviews or live streams. You also find me on Instagram at Dusty Dan's Whiskey Reviews. Till next time, guys, stay dusty.